Hi, I'm Ollie, MD at Source Investments. Today, I've got Tom Jewell with me, my business partner and founder of Source Investments. And with us, we've got Aimee from the Berkeley International team. So today, we want to talk a bit about why the Berkeley product is so attractive for international investors. I think it'd be really useful, Aimee, if you could just give a little bit of an introduction to Berkeley, and then we can move on to talking about that.
Thank you, Ollie. Tom, it's so great to be here today and discuss with you everything Berkeley. So as you know, I've worked with the group now for the last 8 years. It's a huge, reputable FTSE 100 developer that I'm so proud to be part of. We've been building homes now for the last 50 years. So currently within central London, we have 26 amazing projects across zone 1 to 6 with a further 25 product just slightly outside of London, home counties, and the northeast of England around Birmingham. So we've got a great portfolio. We've got great options for all different price points, buyers from many different countries, internationally, and of course, domestically. But from an international standpoint, Berkeley has always been so strong from our reputation, from our quality, from the customer service, and of course, the top brokers and agents that we work with globally that help facilitate that investment into the UK.
So, Aimee, I think one of the things that we noticed when we started working with Berkeley Group is the range of product. I think it's entry points from around 300k and then going all the way north of 30 million pounds. So there's obviously a huge range of product across London and outside of London. I guess that's probably one of the reasons that you do so well with international investors, because you have got different products at different entry point while still having sort of the Berkeley brand and a premium product.
Yeah, absolutely. I think many people, when they're looking at an international investment, might see London as unattainable. They see it as, quite an expensive and established market. But in reality, our portfolio starts from around 265,000 in central London with easy, quick connectivity. And, our portfolio, we have some really privileged, amazing developments that go, way and above 30 million. So it's quite special to be able to offer all different types of investments, depending on whether you are looking purely from an investment, capital appreciation, yield perspective, or if you're looking for your secondary home, your pied à terre, maybe your children will be relocating overseas to study. I'm sure we'll touch upon this a little bit more, but we have some of the world's best universities in London, for example. So there's a whole different multitude of reasons why people are investing. I think, globally, there is many different contributing factors as to why people invest internationally. And UK has stood the test of time. It's one of the oldest, strongest real estate markets globally. And we see clients from all over every day that are interested in investing into the UK and creating that not only wealth, but generational wealth for many years to come.
So a couple of things there. My first question is actually, because I know what people are going to be thinking, anyone watching this, they're going to go, where are you going to buy from 265k in and around London? So what sort of location is that?
So we have a range of developments, and I'd say if you're looking between zones 3 to 6, where we have a couple of different options starting below 300,000. One, for example, we have in Watford, which has very quick connectivity, 13 minutes into Euston. We have a development in Slough, which is going through a huge amount of investment regeneration, of course, on the Elizabeth line, which has been a game changer for transport in London. And then as you close into the further, the zone 1, zones 2, the more prime, super prime locations, obviously the pricing varies depending upon the development. But again, with Berkeley, we specialize not only in, one building. We go through, brownfield regeneration, huge development, which again, we'll probably touch on in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, actually, Aimee. I think one of the things that really drew Ollie and I to working with Berkeley in the first place is we're very investment focused. So for a lot of our clients, they're looking at where they put their capital into the UK market and place a bet on something over the next sort of 5, 10, 15 years. And a lot of the projects we worked on historically, we're really focused on not just buying into areas where there's maybe a building being built, but really is part of a much wider regeneration. And obviously every time that Berkeley seem to go into an area, they are sort of raising the bar for that whole area itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think brownfield regeneration is at the heart of what we do. So we're always pushing forward, whether it's from a sustainable capacity or how we can better the local environment, infrastructure, the commercial, giving back to that local communities that live there, but also bettering it for years to come. So we don't just build one tower of 100 apartments. We will build a whole community with over, 5 to 30 years. It really ranges depending on the project. But within that, we will put in the shops, the lifestyles. In some cases, we've put in a joint with the TfL railways, the whole infrastructure, whether it's pedestrianising pathways, accessibility through roads, car sharing clubs. There's a whole host of additional features that Berkeley, with our experience and with our quality, are able to go above and beyond to make those small details really matter.
Yeah, and I think from an investment point of view, that's really important, because I think you're not just investing, say, in that apartment, you're really investing in a wider regeneration that Berkeley are obviously committing a huge amount of capital to. And so from a capital appreciation point of view, you are creating new markets. And I think, getting into those projects early is our job really with our clients, getting them positioned into the right projects early when, you're investing money over a 5-10 year period into that area.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, when Berkeley look at an area, it might be 5 to 10 years. It might surprise you before we actually deliver and hand over the first home, from when we first evaluated the land and put the bid in to buy the land and gone through the planning and consultation. We with the UK, especially London, there's a huge supply and demand issue, which is what underpins, historically the capital appreciation and lift within the city. But Berkeley really are at the forefront of looking at what is those opportunity areas, where is the next investment, and, where can we add value to that community. So from an investment perspective, which you guys obviously are at the forefront with your investors, having the opportunity to get early access into these first phases, into the communities that, have a huge trajectory ahead of them. Berkeley always strive to be the best. We're multi-award winning. We have customer feedback score over 97% of people that would recommend us to a family or a friend. So, customers are at the heart of what we do, and we're only able to do that by delivering the best and delivering what we say we will do.
Yeah, I think that track record is super important. When we speak to clients overseas, our international clients who are buying into the UK for the first time, that track record and that brand name, I think, carries and helps with those investors quite a lot in terms of getting comfortable with their first investment into the UK.
I was going to say, because we're obviously touching on the capital appreciation opportunities by going into these areas where there's big regen plays. But I think there's sort of two sides here for investors. Obviously, getting in early in an area where there's going to be lots of regen is exciting for what that might look like 10, 15 years from now from a capital appreciation play. But I think the other side of things that we're definitely seeing with investors, particularly with overseas investors, is often it's not purely financial. So it will also be because, they want to park some money in the UK, and we've touched on it already, mature, stable market is one of the main reasons people invest here. But as I say, there's another reason that I think isn't always financial, which is generally they might have a son or a daughter who is either going to go to university now or is going to go to university in the future. So the Berkeley product for them, they're looking at that and they're going, this could look exciting from a capital play over the long term, but also I'm buying a good quality product and I'm buying into something where there is a proper community being built. They want to go into areas, and they also want to be in blocks where you've got a concierge in the building, where you've got gyms, where you've got co-working space, good facilities, because, they want to know that their son or daughter is in a place that's safe, that's secure, but also just a nice place to live.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've obviously touched on a couple of points there. From an international standpoint, Berkeley have been delivering homes for over 50 years. We're a FTSE 100. We have 8 international offices. So we're very fortunate to already have quite a large brand awareness globally and great reputation. So if you are buying as an international investor, just ensure, whether it's with Berkeley or with anyone else, you do your research and you know that who you're buying, can deliver what they say that they're going to deliver, build on time to the quality that you expect. Hopefully it is with Berkeley. But touching upon the reasons of what's driving international investment, investment, for sure. We've got 3 of the top 10 universities in the world in London. Some of our projects have the developments on their doorstep, if not, just a few minutes walk away. So we are very, very lucky that we're at the epicenter of some of the best education globally. And that's right through from prep school through to universities. And many people do move here for their further studies from international markets. It's not easy to rent anymore in the UK. Like London, and 40% of Londoners are renting. There's competition is fierce. And that is to, for the quality of home that most of these international students would feel comfortable living in. It's an even smaller pool of availability. So you're going to be paying quite a lot of money if you are looking to move into the rental market. So many of our investors, many of our clients, many of our families will choose to buy something because it's, like you say, it is a longer term investment. There's opportunity for capital growth, and it's a safe environment that they can feel comfortable with, touching upon the lifestyle, the facilities. So you have in many of our developments, the 24-hour concierge, the security, everything from cinemas, swimming pools, co-working spaces, meeting rooms, private dining spaces, karaoke rooms, bowling alleys, like the list goes on. It really is, a full 360 environment where you can go downstairs in the morning and say hi to your concierge, pick up a coffee, go and read the paper in one of the communal gardens. And then maybe you're doing some studying, some working. You can go down to one of the residence lounges. You can have lunch at one of the on-site restaurants or cafes. Most of our developments, if not all of them, are in super close proximity to major transport links, tubes, train network. So getting in and around the city is also very, very easy, very important. But generally speaking, all of these factors is what makes it quite an easy choice for international investors when they are looking at making that, move into international investment.
One question I was actually going to ask you, Aimee, is maybe just talk a bit about, Berkeley are truly a global company. Obviously, you're a UK developer, but I think it's really useful to understand the resources that you have and you offer as a company for those international buyers. A lot of developers we work with in the UK aren't actually set up in that way. So if you are an international investor looking at the UK market and investing, there's only so much resources and help that they can actually offer those buyers. Berkeley, as I say, it's a global business. I mean, even yourself, you're not actually based in the UK.
Yes.
It'd be great to chat about how Berkeley is set up from a global point of view and how that benefits those international investors.
Yeah, definitely. So I mentioned we have 8 international offices, one being Dubai, which is where I'm currently positioned from our international team. So we have a great team that's based in the heart of Dubai. And from that, it really can be a satellite for us to travel to, the wider GCC, India, Africa, Turkey, wherever we have clients and opportunity, we're able to travel. We also have 7 offices throughout Asia. So, globally, as a UK developer, we have amazing opportunity to support our clients on the ground. So whether that's they are able to come into one of our international offices and we can go step by step. Myself and most of our team are usually on planes traveling around to different events, meeting different clients. So there really is opportunity to do face-to-face business. But we also know we are in quite a virtual world these days, as we are right now. You're probably going to be watching this through a screen. So, we are kitted out to operate 7 days a week, dare I say 24 hours a day, to support multiple time zones, clients with multiple languages. Wherever you are, whoever you are, we are here to support you. And it really is the whole process. So it's from working with top agents such as yourself from the very start of securing the right investment, through to the reservation process with solicitors, if you're going to be taking any lending, perhaps moving money around, in investment bankers, if it's going to be financial consultants. We are very lucky to work with the best people in the industry because of our reputation. So with that, we are able to give the customer a full 360 journey throughout that buying process. I mentioned earlier, customers are at the heart of what we do, and we genuinely care. We want the customers to be happy. We want the people who are investing with us to be delighted and, over exceed their expectation. We have a whole customer service team. I'm obviously on the sales side, but we have a whole customer service team that take over from the point of when you exchange exchange on a property. So this customer service team, we have an online platform. You can log in if the property's not yet built. So if it's off plan, you'll get regular build updates, monthly photos, videos. They'll give you a monthly newsletter to let you know what was the update on the build. Have they topped out? Are the windows going in? So even if you are buying this remotely, you can feel really close to the investment and watch it be built, even if you're not directly here. When handover comes, when we're ready to give you the keys, this is the really exciting part. Whether you're going to live in it yourself or whether it's going to be tenanted, you guys will be able to find them the best tenant, the best price. And because of all of the facilities that are at the heart of the communities that we build, it just ensures that you can get the best tenant at the best price, and from your investment, see, the long-term capital appreciation that it is created through a Berkeley development.
A lot of our investors internationally, one of the big reasons why they're looking to buy into the UK is because of how robust the legal system is. The UK is in the top 2% of legal frameworks for its robustness in the world globally. And I think when you layer on top of that, the fact that obviously Berkeley are such a reputable developer, that's obviously a very strong sort of proposition for people.
Definitely. I think I actually read something the other day, don't quote me on this, that UK law is used across 320 jurisdictions globally. So, buying a property in the UK gives you that opportunity to, that assurance that your investment will be properly secured under the UK legal system. You have a solicitor, for example, who will go through the contracts, the paperwork, and prepare everything for your exchange. They will raise inquiries on your behalf, and they will make sure that everything is, as it should be before you invest your capital into, which for some people can be some of the biggest investments they'll ever make in their life. So UK, is definitely at the forefront from an international standpoint when buying property. The Berkeley Group, as we've mentioned, we're a FTSE 100 company. We've actually just won this year the most admired company on the stock market. So, we take great pride in delivering what we say we're going to deliver on time when we do. We're very fortunate from our cash position that we're able to, continue buying and building land for 10, 20, 30 years to come. So we're in a very strong financial position, and I'm sure most of your buyers will do their research on who we are as a company independently anyway. But we are one of the most successful property developers that there is.
I'm sure also, Aimee, you must have worked with a lot of clients, and we're starting to as well, who are buying their first investment with Berkeley, but that ends up being a longer journey and ending up being a very diverse portfolio by the end of working with them over 3, 4, 5 years. You must have seen several other investors who have done exactly that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned before that 97% of our clients recommend us to a family or friend. And whether it's your first home with us or you're growing your portfolio with us, we have opportunities that are ready now. We have opportunities that are ready off plan for 2028. So we are able to facilitate depending on what that investment journey looks like. We have quite low payment plans. For example, it can be 20 to 25% off plan with 75% on completion. So if you are liquidating capital, if you are moving money around internationally, it just gives you that flexibility, that timeline that they can work with you guys on to plan how they want that investment to look. And we see many of our investors come back and maybe they'll buy another 2, maybe they'll buy another 3, maybe, they'll grow their portfolio much larger than that. At the moment, from an investment standpoint, I'm working with quite a few clients who are buying like a minimum of 6 because there's a saving to be had on commercial stamp duty. So, depending on how they want to transact, whether it's through a limited company, whether it's for their own use, there's many different options that we can talk through and find the right strategy that works for them.
I was going to say as well, I think we've already really spoken about it, but I think ultimately what it comes down to for international investors, but not just international, it's also UK, and I'll come on to it, but ultimately it's peace of mind. The reality is Berkeley isn't selling the cheapest product. It is a premium product, but people are buying it for all of the reasons that we've said. And a lot of that is just comfort, peace of mind. They're buying a good quality product. If they're reserving off plan, which 9 times out of 10 is really what you've got to do because all the best stuff is going early, Berkeley are selling out a lot of their schemes prior to completion. So they've got peace of mind that they're getting a good quality product, but also that their money's safe with a FTSE listed company. I think that's a really big part of it. And I think one other thing that I'd maybe add, we've spoken quite a bit about international investors, but what we're actually seeing as a business ourselves is that UK investors are also really excited about buying the Berkeley product. And I think that's a really good sign for international investors to see that local UK buyers are rubber stamping it and buying it as well. That's something that we've definitely seen at our business.
Yeah, definitely. I think I touched upon the point previously where we take great care and consideration into the local area, the local communities, the people, who will also benefit from what we're building and how we're changing the infrastructure within that area. So we see many of the local residents also invest or buy for themselves. Whether you're downsizing, maybe you have got a 5-bed house and you prefer a 2-bed lateral flat. Maybe you're retiring and you want something a bit smaller. The kids have flown the nest. Or they live in the 5-bed house around the corner and they want to buy something for their children who are just approaching the age where they want to move out. There's a whole host of reasons of why local people are buying and investing. We are strategically placed for transport links. So many of, whether you're working in the city and you want to have that ease of lifestyle, the concierge, the facilities, there's a whole, it's super diverse, and we are fortunate that we work, with great people locally who are investing and buying and benefiting from the communities, but also from the international clients who, want a piece and an opportunity to own something within the portfolio.
Yeah, because I think as well, actually, another point on the other side of that, yes, it's great to see local buyers rubber stamping a development, owner occupiers going in, but from a lending perspective, is obviously really useful. I think a lot of people who are buying from overseas, okay, some are buying cash, but some are looking to get lending. And that's a really big point that we've always focused on as a business, which is ultimately, if you're getting finance on a block, you want to see a mixture of investors, fine, but you also need local owner occupiers. Otherwise, lenders won't actually like it. So you could have lending issues. So I think for us, that is something that gives us a lot of security. If we're going to place investors into a scheme, we know that if they are getting finance, then there's not going to be any issues there, which is obviously a huge piece of the puzzle.
Just to touch upon that again, from a lending perspective, obviously with the wealth of what Berkeley is and how many hundreds of thousands of homes we've delivered over the last 50 years, banks, the surveyors, they know who we are. They know the quality that we're building and that we're delivering. Many clients, internationally and local, will take financing.
Okay, well, thanks, Aimee. That was all really useful. I think for anyone watching this that wants to find out more about investing in the UK, more about the Berkeley product, click the link below and a member of our team will be in touch. Thanks very much.